Welcome back to Echo Ridge. Today, we have a couple of small projects and a large project. But first, an update on the plum squashes. I know, YouTube comments. It is plume squashes because they all have a little plume. But they look like plums. I also know that these are alveo vera plants and not aloe vera plants. This is cinnabar ore and not cinnamon ore. Look, sometimes I gotta entertain myself too, right? Now on the plume squashes specifically, you can see that they sort of ebb and flow between irrigated and not irrigated. And that's despite the fact that I am now running 4 spigot seal ranches. I have some plans for that in the future, but the long and short of it is, it has to do with the light. As you can see, we're only getting about 8,600 LUTs down here, and about 9,000, sometimes we even peak to 10. But even in this ranch, or maybe say this ranch, which is our brightest, some of the seals are still looking for food. In other words, they could be producing more ethanol. And yes, I would love to put another bonbon tree in here, but somehow all the pips went extinct, so I need to wait for another one to come through the pod. Also, on this dark spot here, I have tried a couple of things before I even mentioned it to all of you in the video, but I wanted to show you that normally when you put a dupe right here, it would have canceled out the unknown spot. But I think their feet has to be there. Can I pause it? There we go. So despite the fact that their head is there, well, we're still getting an unknown. Now I could put the dupe up on higher, but then I'd have to get rid of the tree, and I have no pips, and etc, etc. But I do have one more plan, and Chris is gonna love this one. Hey buddy, will you come right up here, please? All right, now I need you to deconstruct that, deconstruct this. No. You are getting those commands whether you like it or not. Here we go. No. We're not done yet, buddy. Now deconstruct this one, deconstruct this one. Nope. We've talked about this before, Chris. There we go. Now I'm going to try deconstructing this one. And voila, we have no more dark spot, and all is right in the world again. Hopefully we can rebuild these before all my little shine buggies escape. Another issue that I was running into at the beginning is, if you look at the end of the last episode, these were all mesh tiles. And the reason why is because I wanted the ethanol to flow more freely. But then I remembered, well, light doesn't go through mesh tiles. It only goes through window tiles. So I replaced all the mesh tiles with window tiles. But even still, I'd like some more light. Now, yes, it would have been a good idea to put all of the bonbon trees in space. That is definitely one way to do it. The reason why I didn't specifically in this playthrough, well, I didn't want to deal with all of the debris and everything up here. I don't plan on doing anything in space, so I was just kind of letting this stay natural. But especially on this planetoid, there is plenty of lux. So if you do have a bunch of pips naturally plant some bonbon trees, you could pretty much go nuts. And you wouldn't have to worry about the thermals up here because, well, it's a vacuum. So once again, here on Echo Ridge Gaming, we are doing things the more complicated way. But I have a plan. Insert the sun lamp. Now the sun lamp is very bright, but more importantly, it actually has a pretty big range. If I had an open area, yes. Look how far the sun lamp can extend. It won't quite give the meat and potatoes we're looking for towards the bottom rows, but I might be able to flip it around so we get more light at the top. Now the disadvantage with the sun lamp is obviously the fact that it requires 960 watts of power, but it does give us 40,000 lux. So step 1 is going to be to replace all these with more window tiles once again. This shouldn't take 4 tons, right? Oh yeah, there goes all of our window tiles again. Time to queue up some more glass. Let's go with a quick 50. Some of the other little side projects are, I am going around and excavating all these fossils. That way we get more fossil, which then we can crush them to make more lime. We've got this one here, which I'm not going in because I can't build over this amber fossil. So because of that, I can't corner build and destroy all these zombie spores that this spork is creating. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll get to be using the ancient specimen. Now the other solution is, I could actually set up a system where we're using this sporkid and maybe a few others, and then pump them here into the biobot builder to make more peggies. But I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, etc, etc, etc. So for now, this one is just staying put and not being touched. because I don't want a repeat of what happened last time. The large project for today is going to be combining these three systems. Well, sort of. I don't necessarily want to combine the rail systems or anything like that. Those can all stay independent. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to join all the steam, and that way it's always even steam pressure. This one here is at 32, this one here is at 53, and this one here is at 14. Now, theoretically, they will all eventually equalize, but I figured it'd be a nice looking project, other than the fact that I have to deal with this ancient specimen here, so it's gonna look a little funky. But before I can do that, I need to get rid of all of this water. I already have a pump here, and a bunch of insulated tiles because, well, you know this stuff is going to get really cold. And that pipe is going to go all the way up through here, all the way up here, and then just get dumped into a liquid trash vent. Now, before you start complaining about the utter waste of the waters, I have plenty. I have this brine tank here. I got petroleum generators creating us polluted water. I have another saltwater geyser here and a cool slush geyser here. What are you doing? You need to come move up here as well. So I'm not too concerned. But the other reason why I need a liquid trash vent is, well, I've got some ideas on how to convert this over to some regular bathrooms. It's another one of the projects today. The issue with getting rid of this, though, is just getting the water pipe through. There's a lot of piping over here. What about right through here? This looks like a nice little avenue. Jump that pipe there, and continue on, unfortunately using insulated the entire way, because it's too cold. Which is causing another problem that I have to fix today too, and that is this insulated liquid pipe here. You can see that this brine gets pretty cold. And depending on the ambient temperature, every once in a while we have a pipe break. But when it does, it splashes down here, then comes all the way down and splashes here, which is just an annoyance and an inconvenience. So what I think I can do is set up some automation that if any of these are sending out a green signal, we can then turn on the source of brine water from way up here, and so that it's not always just sitting in its pipes. Now, brine doesn't freeze to minus 22.5, and I have the ambient temperature being cooled in this area to minus 22. So it should be okay, especially as we create more heat. So maybe I'll deal with that more in the future if we continue to have those problems. This little guy might be chilling down too cold too. So let me back off this one and go with a minus 22 as well. I'm also going through the research tree and making sure that we have all the research at least to tier 4 done. I'm not sure if we're ever going to go to tier 4, at least in this series, for the simple fact, like I said before, I don't want to go to space. And if I can make this colony sustainable without anything off-world, well, that's kind of pretty cool too. We have finished up a couple of these fossils. We will demolish them. There was that one and this one over here. I will do the same to this one. Oh, there's more shine buggies. We will find you, and we will put you to work. Why on earth, Mikey, did you just go pee down the fire pole when we have 2 working outhouses? The schedules look good. Maybe Mikey just wanted to be cool and pee his pants. Speaking of bathroom things, it is time to start this project while the Dupes are building that huge line that goes from the bottom of the map all the way to the top, which is naturally going to take a little bit. But step 1, I think, is going to be getting rid of all these composts. We will not be creating polluted dirt anymore, so we'll figure out something to do with all this excess. 25 tons to be precise. Now, my bathroom system is going to involve a wonderful hot tub. Now, the hot tubs can be notoriously difficult because, well, their temperature requirements are pretty strict. But I'm thinking if I use some insulated pipes, we might still be able to do this. But the water has to be at least 37 degrees. So I think it's time to cut this out just a little bit. I don't necessarily care about the bedrooms. I don't care about the mess hall. None of the heat matters here. It's only around our crops and our critters. So I'm just going to tie these in just like this. What is this pipe? Oh, that's an old ethanol pipe. We can get rid of it. And then I will disconnect this bridge and then tie this pipe in just like that. And there we go. We've shortened our cooling loop. So now this area will naturally start to get a little warmer. Oh, and before I forget, there were some comments about saying that my trees were not producing enough because they were wild. And that's just not the case. And that's the reason why I set up this little example to show everybody. This is a domesticated bonbon tree. As you can see, it is eating its snow, and it is producing nectar. Well, not right now because production is halted because, well, I accidentally harvested all the wood coming off of the branches. But the branches are specifically what causes the nectar to grow. You can see, even domesticated, this bonbon tree is producing 20 kilos worth of nectar. This figure here is dependent on the amount of light that the tree receives and has nothing to do with the fact that it's domesticated or wild. If we go down to one of our wild trees, you can still see it says 20 kilos. So this is one of the rare examples in ONI where it does not matter if the bonbon tree is wild or if it's domesticated. Let's move some of this and clean this area up. I suppose I don't need this hospital anymore. I might as well keep some parts of it. You never know. I mean, we've never entered a dupe on this channel, but it's probably smart anyways to have a triage cot. Now, step one with this is going to be putting down the hot tub. And when we build this, you'll see that it requires wood and it requires a metal ore. We're going to start with just, say, copper for the giggles. We'll put it in just like that. Easy peasy. It does require a little bit of power. Can we finally move this stuff around so it looks nicer? Like through the wood tiles? That'd be great. And one of the first things I want to highlight when you're building a hot tub, when I chose copper ore, it's because I wanted to show you this. Notice that the overheat temperature for the hot tub is 37.7 degrees. And the minimum water temperature is 37.7 degrees. So if you're using a standard metal, it's a pretty fine line to make sure that your hot tub isn't overheating. But what we can do is actually change this material from copper and do a newfangled steel hot tub. And now when we highlight over the hot tub and scroll down, you can see the overheat temperature is 237 degrees because we got the bonus from the steel. So now, of course, we have the difficult task of actually getting the water to be able to stay at 37 degrees, even though this is minus 20 in here. Well, that's where this area under here is going to come into play. Actually, over here, I still need to keep these outhouses going for obvious reasons. Dupes still need to be going to potty because this will take me a little bit. And oh my goodness, I don't have the water sieve yet. How in the world do I not have a water sieve? Wow, I don't even have electrolyzers. Let me go ahead and get a water sieve. I just realized in the middle of that project, I had stopped the pipe right here. This needs to continue on. A little bit of this action. Oh, jeez. Maybe we bring the trash line around the backside. That might make a little bit of sense, considering we're also going to need the trash line this way. Here we go. And then all the way up. Here's our water sieve. And I think I'm about ready to put in the system that's going to keep this whole area and these pipes nice and warm. Something like this. The water that's coming from the bathrooms is going to be outputted over here and then come in through here. I'm almost thinking this would be better switched around, having the hot tub down here. Yeah, we're going to do that. It'll be sort of a medical spa because I want that water heated right before it goes into the hot tub. And I know I have plenty of stored nectar, so I'm just going to deconstruct a couple of these liquid reservoirs. Don't worry, I'll put them back. We're already up to over 15 tons in excess, and that's just coming from this top row here. Yes, we're still building window tiles. Maybe I should look for some more duplicate labor. We'll go up to 20 duped. That seems like a good number, although the mess hall is going to have to get a little bit bigger. Don't know how I'm going to squeeze this one in, but unfortunately, it's going to be none of these dupes. Now that we have our buckets of nectar, I can just move them, bottle emptier, smottle emptier, and I'll make sure I build this thing out first. We're going to have a liquid tepidizer. It is definitely not going to be powered by this circuit, though, because they are chunky boys, too. So I'm going to need yet another circuit over here. And I know I'm going to need several here for another upcoming project. This will work fine here. And whatever this line is, it's now going to be this transformer. And then I'll disconnect this one here. And now we have our wonderful power line for our hot tub and liquid tepidizer setup. Something like this. Ooh la la. We will need some automation in the form of a thermal sensor, so that way this liquid tepidizer knows when to turn on and off. Nice little automation wire. Oh, I built this whole line out of regular granite pipes instead of insulated. Makes me wonder how many people actually caught that when I was doing it. I was like, why isn't this flowing yet? Oh, I don't have bridges in yet. Oh, wait a minute. Why is this a different color? Just another Tuesday. And now that this thermal sensor is ready, we're going to start off by saying 40 degrees. So if it's below 40 degrees in here, the liquid tepidizer is going to turn on. I'm also going to need to make sure I have my radiant liquid pipes. Polluted water is going to be coming in. Clean water is going to be coming out. So we will, of course, start off with insulation. And let's go across. I'll hook this in a little bit differently just so I can have maximum throughput with my radiant liquid pipes. And then we'll just go in through like this. Oh, this is going to be nice. So now we have clean water. We can come out of here. We'll go into the hot tub setup. Can I flip this? No. We'll put that, say, here. It'll go in and then come back out, only then to be supplied to the toilets. Yes, the duplicants are going to be using the hot tub and the bathrooms and the sinks with recycled potty and hot tub water. This is the way. I suppose we will risk a little bit of food poisoning by getting rid of one of the wash basins, and this can go in just like there. We will not need this line or this auto sweeper anymore. Now eventually this one compost will take care of all the polluted dirt on the colony. It's going to take a little while, but we shouldn't be producing much more, other than the occasional dupes being stubborn and not eating leftovers before they go grab new squash fries. So we get little rotten squash fries on the floor. In the middle of that project, I realized I didn't need to do this. We have so much nectar being produced by these little guys, I could actually use the space in here because I don't need to maintain this sort of amount of nectar production. I mean, we're already sitting way overboard. We have 20 tons of plastic on the standby, and all that nectar is ready to turn into even more plastic if we ever need it. So I'm gonna cancel this and have it replaced with igneous rock tiles again. Yay! We finally have the 10 tons of nectar. Well, not 10 tons apparently. Did we drop some on the way? The move here is supposed to continue that action. Oh well, we'll see how much this is, and all we have to do is empty it. Bottle emptiers? Where we're going, we don't need bottle emptiers. Thank you, JM Mort. Oh, very nice. Instantly, the tepidizer starts heating up the nectar. Now, nectar can go all the way up to 160 degrees before it turns into steam and sucrose. So the 40 degrees that we have it set at is going to be perfect. It's also a decent conductor. And of course, there's a little bit of carbon dioxide here. My life is pain. There we go. Now we got 2 full layers of nectar. Well, the second row is not very full. Every single tile can hold 1,100 kilos worth of nectar, so this top row is a little short, but the end result should be the same. We are already up to 27 degrees. We have some of our toilets in, so I can start this process as well. Insulated only. We know where the other sinks and lavatories are going to be, so we'll hook them up smartly. That can also be connected. Polluted water comes out, gets cleaned, comes out of here, goes through here, into the hot tub, back out to be used by all these wonderful toilets. Now eventually we're going to have an overflow problem, because remember, duplicants produce more water than the bathrooms require. Every flush is 5 kilos, but the dupes are depositing an extra 6.7 kilos. And our overflow system is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to come right off the overflow of the water sieve and join in with this trash line right here. Now, unfortunately though, I need to do a 50-50 split with this trash line because it's going to be chocked full for quite some time. Ooh, we're ready for bridges here. Because the first thing we're dumping is this entire thing of water here, which we're also going to use to plumb the bathrooms. So I will bridge it like this, and then this line will be able to come through. But to start off with, I actually want to fill this system, so we are going to bridge it on right here. That way that water comes through and then gets heated by the liquid tepidizer nectar tank before continuing on to the bathrooms. I think it's a pretty clean system, but I know the comments will be peppered with all sorts of amount of pasta comments. This is not spaghetti, all right? And if it is spaghetti, it's like a fine dining type of spaghetti, or your grandma's spaghetti. It's delicious and tasteful. Oh, here comes the water. It's starting to flow. Who's gonna be the first in the hot tub? And yes, I need you to use the hot tub. That way it continues to flow. I suppose I could just do an overflow system like that. And that way, if duplicants aren't using the hot tub, the water will still flow. It is J.M. Mort and Freya. Very nice. One great new thing about the hot tub is once they exit out of it, actually, I don't see it. They're supposed to get a frost-proof buff, and it's a significant amount of time. I'm guessing the reason why they're not is because they're wearing the warm coats, so they don't need the frost-proof buff. What about Freya? You're naturally frostproof, but maybe the buff still sits? No. In fact, I don't know if they just got out early because they're still supposed to get an increased morale. Brian, come here for a second. And I'm not seeing a morale bonus. Or maybe it's because it's not a recreation room? And I am getting a flowing issue. It's coming out of here and going right back into the hot tub, so I'm going to need to provide some sort of direction for this. I'll probably end up just doing something like that. And that way it's not an issue at all. I can also now disconnect this line because it is overflowing our system. Oh, and I'm going to need a directional bridge there as well to make sure it knows it is emptying onto this line. But our bathrooms are working, so I can get rid of these old outhouses. Look, 732 cycles. Not shabby. Granted, it's probably not a record. This is not going to work either because we're getting a piped blocked message. I am going to figure this out. I think we'll just try it. I'm sure duplicants will be using the hot tub enough to keep the bathrooms filled. Alternatively, I could just fill them both and have it exit. Maybe that's smarter. Something like that, 50-50 split. And I accidentally just deconstructed the hot tub. And then what I can do with the bridge is only allow it to empty over here if there's no excess hot tub water coming that needs to come through. So it'll look something like this. This is much better. Now, any sort of overflow will head to the trash line. The water's going to come around. It's going to make sure that the toilets are filled and also make sure that the hot tub has enough water to run as well. Right now, the pipe is blocked, but that's just because no one's gone to the bathroom yet. Bathroom use, and then the water starts flowing. It's not enough though, is it? I suppose I could separate them, but it was just way too convenient considering I needed to warm the water anyways. Oh, I've got another idea. I can just make sure it continuously flows by doing something like this. Maybe overflow from the last sink will then exit through here. Clean water goes through the water sieve just fine, and the whole loop should keep moving. Yes, perfect. And now the hot tub only gets rid of its water when it has to. Otherwise, the whole system will back up, and the overflow will then get dumped off into the vacuum of space. Now I just need one more duplicant to get into the hot tub because we have a recreation room. Now there will be times where the hot tub will not have enough water until the duplicants create some more, but the priority is always going to be filling the toilets and the sinks first. Oh, here we go. Chen. Enjoy the dip. Here's what we ended up with the sun lamps. I can highlight how good these things are. You can sort of see how well they extend their range all the way down through our nectar and seal farm. And the light in the end is all the way up to 15,000 lux in some spots. Most of the branches are at 100% branch productivity, so the seals should be much happier. There's one more thing I need to do here though. And that's grab some beach chairs, because here on Echo Ridge Gaming, we believe in taking the very best care of our duplicants. Unfortunately, I'm going to need 30 data analysis research. Well, it just so happens that I have some saved. Yes, the only research, considering I'm not going to space on this colony, that we're going to be spending at the tier 4 level will be for beach chairs. We'll need our virtual planetarium. Oh, look at that. A little bit of power. I'm still absolutely mesmerized by how good this system actually works. Despite the fact that we're not getting the morale bonus, the dupes are enjoying all their time in a spa. And another change that some of you may have noticed here in our main colony that I did off camera is the fact that I put ice panels behind everything here. And we finished up all the wood tiles, so the decor, well, it's pretty nice. I am running an experiment with the Luke. I took off their warm coat, so they were getting the chilly surroundings debuff. So I'm wondering if they're going to warm up and get the morale bonus for using the hot tub. And no morale bonus. In fact, they're not even getting the buff for being in the hot tub. Something's broken. I'm sure it's my fault. Here, Luke, put your coat back on. And during all that time, we did finish up this area here, which means it is time to extend our wonderful geothermal power plant. Now this is going to be a bit tricky. First, I have all this mercury sitting here. I need to get it solidified again, but it's not quite that cold. I suppose it doesn't really matter, but it would have been nice to get rid of it. Where's our hot point on the abyssalite? Oh, this is fine right here. I'll just carry this all the way over. We'll get a few little ouchies, but it'll be okay. We've started vacuuming this place out. We have an ultra strong liquid lock right here. Granted, there is 6 kilos worth of carbon dioxide pressure down here. But once this whole place is vacuumed out, I'll seal it in permanently and then we'll break in through here, which is going to help because our geothermal pump once again cannot vent, and that's because this place is overpressured. And since it's been like that for so long, there's not enough heat to turn the steam turbines on. That's one of the reasons why I want to combine all 3 of these, so there'll never be an instance where one is overpressured and the other 2 are not. I suppose one thing I can do to make this a little bit better for now is just equalize these 2 rooms by opening this door. We are getting a little bit of heat because of the thermal aqua tuner, and it's enough to get the steam turbines on a little bit. We did find ourselves another dupe. While they might not be one of the most well-rounded dupes, they're going to be pretty good. They're buffed to begin with, plus they have a +9 to construction, so I think this ashcan will fit the bill perfectly, at least in the overall interest of more duplicant labor. Welcome to Chill Hill, duplicant number 17, Citrus Mod. One of my favorite pastimes in Auction Not Included is definitely waiting for rooms to vacuum out. I wish there was a better mechanic, which I suppose I could just put, more gas pumps in, but you know what I'm saying. And also, part of it was my fault too, because for a long time there was 2 tons of polluted dirt inside of there that kept off-gassing. No big deal, I fixed it. And finally, which means I can do something pretty fun. I'm going to deconstruct this tile, build a couple of insulated here, and then we're just going to break in through this wall, open this area up, and this area up. We should, should never have overpressure problems again. Yes! Release the steam! And now I can finish this off that way. And I can also open this up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this liquid lock. I might just collapse it and then mop up all the mercury. But for now, let me release some pressure in here. Now these steam turbines are just going to be added power. We're going to set them on 90, 70, just like the rest. And their system is completely disconnected from the rest. They'll only return the steam back in here. Yes! The geothermal pump is back in working order. And we have a giant, I don't know what to call it. I think we'll also eventually start putting all these steam turbines into rooms. And that way they can do NG's tune-up as well. Lots of prospects with this whole system now. I think in the mid-game, when you're starting to do all this, it's probably not feasible for you to start off by connecting all 3 geovents. But it's definitely the way to go. You have so much less, we'll definitely call this spaghetti, to deal with, less automation. It just makes the whole system a lot simpler. And now to get rid of this liquid lock, I think I can just sort of build into it like this. I put a couple of blocks here on the edge, and then I'm just going to do one of those quick mops. There we go. It's going to take the duplicants a long time to get this whole area cleaned up. I want to add some temperature shift plates. We probably need a thermal aqua tuner for these steam turbines as well. Although I suppose I could use this water that's coming out at 94. No. Let's just do it right. And I think out of sheer laziness, I'm just going to use water for this cooling loop. Yeah, we can go get some nectar, because it'd be a little bit better, but I've got all this water sitting right here. And it's only 3 steam turbines, so it's not going to have to work a whole bunch. So we'll just do something like this. We'll get it loaded on. I've got it set to 25. Noticed one little boo-boo here. Forgot to leave an insulated pipe around this metal tile, so our debris is not exactly getting cool. I remembered on the other 2, though. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I've been told. And yes, we have some liquid sulfur in here because there was some sulfur at the bottom of this area here. But it's alright, we're just going to mop it and drop it right here on this cool tile, which will make it solidified, and that won't be a problem either. Alright, I went back and checked out a couple of things, and I realized what the problem was. And it had to do with their schedules. Long story short, The duplicants didn't have enough time to finish their hot tub soak, so I increased everybody's downtime to 4, and now Synth not only got the frost resistance, which means they're impervious to cold and soggy feet for 3 cycles. And additionally on their morale, they're now getting the +5 hot tub buff. The dupes got a lot to sweep up and a lot to do, but I think that's going to be about it for this episode. I thought about making the screenshot this, but once again, I don't know if the 18 steam turbine sauna would really display well on a thumbnail. Perhaps it should be our beach chairs. We've got 6 of them now, and the ethanol is flowing very, very nice, thanks to a nice surplus of light. And with the addition of all that extra ethanol, our plum squashes, okay, I was just trolling you on that one, the plume squashes are all perfectly fertilized. Or maybe it should be our new spa. I don't know, I haven't quite decided yet. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed yet another episode here on Chill Hill. I look forward to reading your comments and hearing what you have to say about this episode and this series. So until next time, much love, happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.